Hi, everybody. I'm Ken Navarro. This is the first video podcast of a new series that I'm doing where I take you into my studio and show you how I'm composing and recording the new music for what will be my next album. Come back every Thursday for a new edition. Thanks, everybody, and I hope you enjoy this. Hi, I'm Ken Navarro, and welcome to my podcast, all about the music. This is going to be the first podcast for a series of podcasts that I'm going to do to preview for you the creation of what will be my 28th album. But today I thought we'd take a look at one of the songs I've been working on lately. For now, the title is KN16. As all the musicians know who've worked with me over the years, I rarely have a song title until after the music is completed. But I thought for the purposes of this podcast, I would take you back in time to when I first started writing this piece. So this song was begun as a composition where I heard a groove, a drum groove in my head that I really liked. And I went to my virtual drum software, which is quite amazing. It's called Superior Drummer 3. And I found a template, I guess, that was pretty close to what I was hearing in my head. And then I worked with it to get what I wanted. And so let's listen to a little bit of that. So with a little work, that felt pretty good to me. And I decided that the next thing I should do is come up with a melody that went with this. And I try to write what some people might call the chorus, some people might call the hook. I try to write that at the earliest stage I can in a song, because I think it's one of the most important things in any song. That's got to be great. Or the rest of it is just kind of filler. At least that's the way I see it. And then, once you have a really strong hook, the other parts of the song tend to present themselves to me more easily. Easily being a relative term. But so the next thing to do was to come up with the melody. And I decided just to work on the melody, playing over only this drum groove, just to keep my focus on a really strong melody without anything supporting it. And when I write melodies on the guitar, I really try to sing them in my head first. I try to avoid playing stuff that's guitaristic. I really want it to be vocal. So that's what I did here. Let's check out what I came up with. So that's what I came up with, and that melody pretty much stuck. I felt like it was pretty strong, it sounded pretty vocal, and I knew as I got to know it, it would only get better. So then what I started to look at once I had this much done was, okay, what harmonies are being implied here, and what instruments might play those harmonies? And for whatever reason, I heard the sound of two instruments accompanying this. One was a Wurlitzer electric piano, which is a very specific electric piano that it's a sound that folks recognize, but they may not know what it is unless they see it. And then the other thing I heard was like another nylon string guitar part that was like a rhythm part that was playing chords with little finger, like using finger style playing, which is something that I do. And so I started to work on those two parts, and here's what I came up with. So now I've got these chords that I've come up with, this harmonic set of chords played by the Wurlitzer, which you hear on the left, a nylon string rhythm guitar, which I'm using finger-style guitar playing. You hear that over on the right side. So the one thing that's missing now, at least as far as fleshing out this very early form of this chorus or this hook, but the thing that was missing was the bass. I played around for a while with some electric bass, but ultimately I really like the sound of acoustic bass on this. I think partly because it's so open sounding, I felt like you could really appreciate what an acoustic bass would do here. And so I have a wonderful virtual instrument for acoustic bass made by a company called Spectrasonics. This particular software is called Trillion. And so I started experimenting with that. This program is very powerful, but you have to know how to play acoustic bass, at least to the degree of understanding what your choices are and what makes an acoustic bass unique and special. You know, you want to, if you're going to use an acoustic bass, you want to bring those qualities out. And so I look for parts that are going to do that. I also look for opportunities to do what are called slides and glisses. A slide would be where a note simply slides down, or it could slide up, but I usually have them slide down. A gliss is a very quick slide up into a note. And these are things that great acoustic bass players use all the time as part of their arsenal, so to speak. So anyway, here was the original acoustic bass part that I came up with. And so here's that same chorus with all the instrument parts I've created so far. The Wurlitzer piano on the left, the nylon rhythm guitar on the right, my guitar melody in the middle, and of course the bass and the drums. And so now we have all of these parts happening at once. And with the exception of my melody guitar and my rhythm guitar, all of the instruments at this point are still virtual. So the Wurlitzer, the bass, and the drums, these are all virtual for now. When I'm writing, I delay making decisions about what will be replaced with real players, what will be the final part. It's just too early in the process to know that. And that seems like the perfect place to stop for now and to pick up when we come back next Thursday to look at what I wrote next for this song. All right, everybody, hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you next Thursday. I'm Ken Navarro, and you've been listening to my podcast all about the music.